I read somewhere that you'll actually visualize falling to your death.
Well, I mean, I have thought about it for sure.
Like what? Why?
Because it'd be worse to have never thought about that and then suddenly be in the position and be like, holy shit, you know? Like, it's better to think through like every different side of something. I mean, the thing is, like, if the idea of falling to my death is like insurmountable, like if I can't get past that fear, then like I probably shouldn't be up there. You know, you can't just like suppress that and then just like go. I mean, you have to accept like the whole experience.
Yeah, and what will you see when you visualize falling to your death?
Well, I mean, you'd bounce off that ledge 20 meters below, you'd probably bounce off the ledge 40 meters below that. Eventually you would just fall to the ground and you'd be like dead.
And you'll literally,
well,
I mean, see yourself doing that.
I mean, is that weird? Do you not do that?
Well, I'm not a pro climber either, so no.
But like, I mean, haven't you ever, like when you're driving, haven't you ever thought about what it'd be like to just like veer into one of those little divide things on a highway and just like have your car explode or something?
I mean,
surely you've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean,
or like if you're on a single lane freeway
probably
going
not
super
with
fast.
as much detail as.
I think it's important to like, to actually think it all the way through. Because the thing is, there are a lot of places with big wall. I mean, people always think that with soloing big walls, like if you fall, you die. And I mean, that is true on the bulk of the wall. But there are a lot of places where if you fell off, you'd probably land on the ledge right below you. Or you could probably, if you were thinking about it, you could probably grab something. Or like, you know, if you're in a chimney system and you slip, I mean, you can basically self-arrest inside the chimney, which I've done before, but not soloing with a rope on. You know, so I mean, I think it's important to like think all that stuff through. You know, like one of the big solos that I did was half dome. And like technically the hardest moves on the route are like on the fourth pitch, like say 400 feet off the ground is like the hardest physical sequence, and it's above this big ledge thing that's kind of like a picnic table, or maybe like 2 picnic tables almost. So I mean, if you fell off the hardest moves, you would almost for sure land on the ledge and stick it. So I mean, it actually takes a lot of the commitment out, where it's like, if you fall off the hardest part, you're not gonna die, probably. Though I mean, there's quite a bit of other hard climbing on the route. But you know, I mean, I think it's important to know that kind of stuff.
So free soloing and, you know, climbing with or without a rope is pretty much the same physically, you've said.
Yeah.
But mentally, explain why free soloing so much more challenging.
Well, it's kind of obvious, right? Because if you fall off, you're gonna die. So it's like, obviously there's a lot more like fear involved, and like there's more second guessing, or there's just more going on in your head.
Yeah, but I mean, you said for the most part, fear's kind of out of it for you at this point.
But getting the fear out of it is all like.
I mean, I get for me, I'd be scared.
Yeah, but like overcoming that fear is something that you go through beforehand, like before soloing. Hopefully, you know, you like visualize, you deal with all those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. You just got to go try it. You know?
It's not happening today.
Might be.
Why is it important to avoid getting your adrenaline going?
Well, I mean, it's important to avoid any kind of major fear response type thing, just because, I mean, you have like physiological changes. You know, your vision narrows, your breathing accelerates, like you over grip. Like, I mean, it happens a lot of the time when you're climbing with a rope. You'll be like super, super scared, and you like can't see anything, and you're holding on super tight, and you're like, oh my God. And then you get a piece of gear in, and you like clip your rope, and all of a sudden you're safe. And then you're like, oh, and you relax, and then you're like, oh, there's this other huge hold right here that I should have grabbed but didn't see. And then you're like, oh, and there's a foothold, and suddenly you're like way more relaxed. And so, I mean, you want to stay in that relaxed state the whole time.
But I think I've read before too that you've said it's not even good to just get pumped for a climb.
You mean like amped up?
Yeah, like amped up.
Yeah, again, because I feel like that's a bit of a crutch if you just like, I mean, that's something that a lot of people have done on smaller routes. Like if you're soloing something that's only like 30 or 40 meters, say like 100, 150 feet high, you can get like all super psyched up and then climb it, and it'll take you like 4 or 5 minutes. So you can kind of maintain that like artificial high of like, I'm so psyched, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, but like if you're climbing like a 2,000 foot wall, you can't just be like, here we go, you know, because like 5 minutes later you're like, oh my God, I'm really scared now. Or I'm like tired or whatever. It's like, you know, you can't just like artificially amp yourself up. You have to like have a nice even, you know, like controlled.
For more clips from this interview, visit GrahamBensinger.com.